I'm a Christian and abortions aren't right because God is pro-life. Well, actually, Numbers chapter 5, verses 13 through 29, God commands abortion if a man even thinks his wife might have cheated on him. And you gotta be taking that out of context. That don't sound right. But he's definitely not in the late term abortions like the Democrats. Actually, God would let you abort your kids even after they were alive if they were disobedient. Deuteronomy 18, verse 18 through 21. Well, that's all in the Old Testament, and we don't care about that. Well, at least the Supreme Court got it right when they put prayer back in school. Have you even read this book? Okay, Jesus actually commanded his disciples not to pray in public, but in their private, locked closets. Matthew 6, verses 5 and 6. Well, I like it, so damn it, fuck what Jesus is talking about. He's not a real Christian anyway. I heard he was a... I'm a Christian, and abortions aren't right because God is pro-life. Well, actually, Numbers chapter 5, verses 13 through 29, God commands abortion if a man even thinks his wife might have cheated on him.
Call halal la Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Waha Racha Kodash. All praises and glory go to you, Lord. Double honors and respect go to our apostles, our elders, and our teachers, men of great millstone. To you I say Shalom. It's your brother, I'm Ryan. I'm back with another one. And as you can see from this gentleman outside his mind that I just played for you, he's got some doctrine that he's come up with that doesn't align with the word. So we're going to go ahead and get into what he said. And what he said was very specific. He said that God pretty much instructed the children of Israel to have abortions if they thought that there was adultery occurring. His scriptures that he pulled to support this claim was Numbers chapter 5, verse 13 through 29. We'll begin at verse 12. It says, "Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, if any man's wife go aside and commit a trespass against him, meaning adultery, and a man lie with her carnally, and it be hid from his eyes, from the eyes of her husband, and be kept close, and she be defiled, and there be no witness against her, neither she be taken with the manner, and the spirit of jealousy come upon him, and he be jealous of his wife, and she be defiled. Or if the spirit of jealousy come upon him, and he be jealous of his wife, and she not be defiled." Verse 15, "Then shall the man bring his wife unto the priest, and he shall bring her offering for her, the 10th part of an ephah of barley meal. He shall pour no oil upon it, nor put frankincense thereon. For it is an offering of jealousy, and an offering of memorial, bringing iniquity to remembrance. And the priest shall bring her near, and set her before Yahweh. And Yahweh is whom you ignorantly call God." Verse 17, "And the priest shall take the holy water in the earthen vessel, and of the dust that is in the floor of the tabernacle, the priest shall take, and put it into the water. And the priest shall set the woman before Yahweh, and uncover the woman's head, and put the offering of memorial in her hands, which is the jealousy offering. And the priest shall have in his hand the bitter water that causeth the curse. And the priest shall charge her by an oath, and say unto the woman, if no man have lain with thee, and if thou hast not gone aside to uncleanliness with another instead of your husband, be you free from this bitter water that causeth the curse." So this is the orderly way of dealing with if you have a thought that your wife has committed adultery. There's a process. As Corinthians tells us, let everything be done decently and in order. And this is the order to uncovering the truth behind whether she has been unfaithful or not. Verse 19, and the priest shall charge her by an oath and say unto the woman, if no man have lain with thee, and if you have not gone aside to uncleanliness with another instead of your husband, be you free from this bitter water that causeth the curse. But if you have gone aside to another instead of your husband, and if you be defiled, and some man have lain with you beside your husband, then the priest shall charge the woman with an oath of cursing, and the priest shall say unto the woman, the Yahweh make thee a curse and an oath among your people, and when Yahweh doth make your thigh to rot, and your belly to swell. So basically the curse is that her thighs would rot. Obviously that has a putrid smell to it, rotting flesh, and that her belly would swell. Verse 22, and this water that causeth the curse shall go into your bowels, your stomach, to make your belly to swell and your thigh to rot. And the woman shall say, Amen, amen. And the priest shall write these curses in a book, and he shall blot them out with the bitter water. He shall cause the woman to drink the bitter water that causeth the curse, and the water that causeth the curse shall enter into her and become bitter. Then the priest shall take the jealousy offering out of the woman's hand, and shall wave the offering before Yahweh, and offer it upon the altar. And the priest shall take a handful of the offering, even the memorial thereof, and burn it upon the altar, and afterward shall cause the woman to drink the water. And when he have made her to drink the water, then it shall come to pass that if she be defiled, and have done trespass against her husband, that the water that causeth the curse shall enter into her, and become bitter, and her belly shall swell, and her thigh shall rot, and the woman shall be a curse among her people. And if the woman be not defiled, but be clean, then she shall be free and shall conceive seed. This is the law of jealousies, which a wife goeth aside to another instead of her husband, and is defiled. So basically, if she has been convicted of the crime of adultery, then her thigh would rot, her belly would swell, and she would not be able to conceive. If she hadn't done no sin and had been found free, or found not guilty, so to speak, then she would be able to conceive seed and carry on about her normal wifely duties. As you can see, this man is a false prophet in his claim. These scriptures in no way support abortion, to pass your kids on to Molech. And the last thing Israel needs right now is for these foxes to come out with their own doctrines pushing this narrative.
And you got to be taking that out of context. That don't sound right. But he's definitely not in the late term abortions like the Democrats. Actually, God would let you abort your kids even after they were alive if they were disobedient. Deuteronomy 18, verse 18 through 21.
All right. So Deuteronomy 18, verse 18 through 21, as this gentleman says, should support what he just said, that Yahweh supports late-term abortion. But since I already know this guy's a jackass, let's just go ahead and get into it. This is Deuteronomy 18, and verse 18 is where I began. Okay? Actually, verse 17. It says, and Yahweh said unto me, they have well spoken that which they have spoken. I will raise them up a prophet from among their brethren, like unto you, and will put my words in his mouth, and he shall speak unto them all that I shall command him. And it shall, verse 19, Salakia, and it shall come to pass that whosoever will not hearken unto my words, which he shall speak in my name, I will require it of him. But the prophet which shall presume to speak a word in my name, which I have not commanded him to speak, or that shall speak in the name of other gods, even that prophet shall die. And if thou say in thine heart, how shall we know the word which Yahweh hath spoken? Verse 22, when a prophet speaketh in the name of Yahweh, if the thing follow not, nor come to pass, that is the thing which Yahweh have not spoken, but the prophet hath spoken it presumptuously, thou shalt not be afraid of him. See, this man would have done well to read these scriptures before throwing them out. And I'm going to go back to a vital point, because obviously this has nothing to do with late-term abortion. This man is a fool, a puppet, and someone would got the hand up his ass working his mouth like a puppet. And it ain't Yahweh. But it says, verse 19, and it shall come to pass that whosoever will not hearken unto my words, which he shall speak in my name, I will require it of him. But the prophet which shall presume to speak a word in my name, which I have not commanded him to speak, or that shall speak in the name of other gods, even that prophet shall die. This man's got to pay for these words without knowledge. All right, perverting the word of Yahweh. Who knows, for his own selfish following on TikTok, who knows what this man's reasoning is. But he would have done well to read those scriptures before running his mouth about them.
Well, that's all in the Old Testament, and we don't care about that. Well, at least the Supreme Court got it right when they put prayer back in school. Have you even read this book? Okay, Jesus actually commanded his disciples not to pray in public, but in their private, locked closets. Matthew 6, verses 5 and 6. Well, I like it, so damn it, fuck what Jesus is talking about. He's not a real Christian anyway. I heard he was a...
We're going to go ahead and end out here. Obviously, that's the only thing he got right. The Lord did instruct us to go into private chambers and pray, not to do it in public as the heathens do. Okay, not to use many words, etc., etc. And you can look the law up on that for yourself. Everything else he said was horseshit. And you find a lot of this in Israel. You got people running their mouth about the Bible and never have even read the book. They sit back like lazy bum-ass people waiting for someone else to read it to them and break down the interpretations thereof. But the Bible instructs us to study to show ourselves approved, a workman that rightly divideth the word of truth and need not be ashamed, roughly paraphrasing. And that is the state you need to be in. You need to be studying to show yourself approved. As for these so-called prophets coming out, by the way, Jesus is not the Lord's name. The Lord's name is Yahweh Shai HaMashiach. He delivers or he saves. That is the meaning of the name Yahweh Shai. All right. The anointed one. And he's a so-called Negro or black man. Okay. Either way, we're going to end out here. This is Ezekiel chapter 13. Verse 2 is where I begin. It says, Son of man, prophesy against the prophets of Israel that prophesy, and say you unto them that prophesy out of their own hearts, hear ye the word of Yahweh. Thus saith Yahweh, power, woe unto the foolish prophets that follow their own spirit and have seen nothing. O Israel, thy prophets are like the foxes in the deserts. And in this case, that's exactly what they're like. We'll end out verse 6. They have seen vanity and lying divination, saying, Yahweh saith, and Yahweh have not sent them. And they have made others to hope that they will confirm the word. This is the state This is the condition of this man in this video. A lying prophet, a scavenger who have not been sent by Yahweh. Death to him. Shalom.